Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Secret Dungeon Podcast. I'm your host, Cheney, and is with me, as always, Corey.
Hello.
What's up, dude?
Nothing much, brother, man. Nothing much. You know, I had a little update from last week's episode where we talked about, where I predicted the downfall of D&D.
Yeah.
Dog, it's gotten worse.
The situation gets so much worse.
This isn't what I wanted to talk about, but I just wanted to do a little update real quick.
Yeah.
Little palate cleanser, a little palate. This is an appetizer, right?
Yeah, a little appetizer.
We talked about, you know, all the digital forms and all that kind of stuff that they was trying to go towards for Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. Remember I told you their VTT and all that stuff?
Yeah. We're smoking cigars, by the way, if you're wondering what's up with all the pausing.
Yeah, we're smoking cigars right now.
Big cigars.
Yeah, big cigar smoker brothers.
For big sadness times.
What?
What? No, I'm just kidding.
So, as it turns out, they dropped the VTT and didn't really advertise it.
Nani?
Yeah.
What?
Kore wa nani desu ka?
That is sus.
Yeah, it's insanely sus. Let me tell you how sus it actually is. They fired 90% of their dev team for it too. Let them go.
Let them go, huh?
The only 10% that remain are just for maintenance people and whatnot. That's rough.
That's
dude.
RUFF. Rough.
Yeah, that tells you that that they predicted wrongly, and a lot of people's like, well, they wouldn't do that and all that stuff. It's like, yes, they will. They're a mega billion-dollar corporation. They will absolutely can something super quick.
Yeah, and they have the ability to do so. You know?
I wouldn't doubt that. Whenever, let me try to articulate what I'm trying to think here. I wouldn't doubt they try to do something else with D&D.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the game portion of it.
Yeah.
Where they almost try to make like a whole other addition to it. Because remember, they called it D&D 2024. There's no true name to it.
Yeah.
It's like there's...
Yeah, they're kind of up a creek right now.
They kind of goofed themselves, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, why did they name it that? And then now a lot of people are just calling it 5.5. You know what I mean? Because that's basically what it is. It's just an edit of 5th edition.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just not looking good whenever D&D didn't even clear the top bestseller lists whenever each book has in the past, right?
Yeah.
Not the Dungeon Master's Guide, which is your main, you know, buy source.
Yeah.
You know, your whales.
Yeah.
Didn't even hit the bestseller list. And that's a trend for Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And then you have Shadow Dark over here, a company ran by 2 people, clearing $1 million on their second Kickstarter. They cleared $1 million on their first Kickstarter, and then they cleared $1 million on their second Kickstarter.
Well, not to be that guy, but hey, look, there's an empire that's falling over there, everybody. Get your camera out.
Yeah, get your camera out. We're watching D&D implode on itself in real time.
So in other news.
Yeah, no, that wasn't what I wanted to talk. I just wanted to kind of update you.
Yeah.
And then our listeners on that too.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's get
your cameras out, folks.
I said a long time ago.
You called it.
That and it wasn't even just last week. It was a long time ago that I said something about it. Because what did I say? You know, some people say that ships that large are impossible to sink, and you know what I said to that? I said ships that are that large,
Titanic too.
Ships that are that large sink slowly.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't sink all at once. They sink slowly. So,
and then it's by the time you realize it's sinking, it's too late to save it.
Yeah, it's too late to save it. We're literally. What's kind of funny is that like I predicted the downfall publicly on the podcast.
Yeah,
and it's like I predicted the downfall of the Titanic as I'm sitting in the bottom of the water in one of the lifeboats. I think this boat's gonna fail.
You know, that water's not that cold.
That being
in this nice safe boat.
That being said, if you're an avid D&D enjoyer, I highly encourage you to check out Shadow Dark. It is the better version of D&D. through and through.
If you're gonna play a D&D something,
If you're gonna play D&D, you need to play Shadow Dark. It's the way.
and that's us shouting out to the Shadow Dark people. Woo woo, what up?
Yeah, because they totally need our endorsement.
They don't.
They don't even know who we are.
Nope. Nope.
Regardless, though,
But you never know.
something I did want to talk about because we're working on Extinction a lot here recently. Our zombie RPG game.
Yep.
What is your zombie survival plan?
Mine?
Yeah. Did
Eat
you ever have one like back in the day?
Nah.
I'm gonna ask you, like, what are your, like, so you're not as big into like zombie movies as I am,
Correct.
you know?
Though I've seen some obscure ones, weirdly
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, you're not what's the word? You're not
I'm a bizarre connoisseur,
Yeah.
not a zombie connoisseur.
you're not a zombie buffet enjoyer. You're like I am. I'll watch anything zombie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. I like pick and choose.
Yeah.
I pick and choose what I like.
But you still enjoy,
I still
zombie
enjoy
things. Yeah.
zombies. That's why we made Extinction.
Yeah, that's
'cause
why we made
it's
Extinction.
Stupid, dumb fun.
Yeah, because it's just goofy.
Yeah, it's yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you, okay, you're in the setting of Extinction,
Yeah.
right?
Ugh.
Which, do you want to explain that setting just really quickly, because you can do it very quick?
Yeah, it's pretty much it's set. I'm pretty sure in the 21st century,
Yeah, it's set pretty much like
like today,
yeah,
modern
modern day.
and so there's these aliens who get mad at Earth and decide to shoot their dead alien refuse
Yeah,
into the Earth's water supply.
Yeah.
and annihilate the Earth within a week.
yeah.
Needless to say,
The
there
water
are survivors,
yeah, a alien virus infects the water supply.
and it
And
pretty much
decimates like
yeah.
90% of humanity in
Within
the
a
first
week.
week. You know,
and
and then there's like 10%. Well, it's believed that maybe more would have been immune if they didn't get, killed by the infected, because the infected become
zombie-like, very
become,
very zombie-like,
mutated,
undead person.
undead-ish people.
Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, there's
On a
that.
scale of 1 to 10, how well do you think you could survive the extinction?
Ooh, if I was immune.
Yeah. Do you think you could survive the first year of the extinction?
I'm a man. I think I could survive a year.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm a grown man who knows how to scavenge. I can survive a year. Now, you give me a year and year and 6 months, we're talking
Yeah.
a different story. I might be dead.
Jeez.
No, because there's a lot of variables at play here.
Yeah, well, I mean, extinction.
People being the biggest one.
Yeah, here's the thing, and Walking Dead got this part right. There's a lot that they got wrong, in my opinion, and I think it's just from a show writer point. But
Yeah.
as far as a setting,
It's a pretty good setting.
yeah, they nailed a lot of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially you get a small southern town,
Yeah.
People
yeah.
live in the South.
Oh yeah. What they got right was that the zombies are not the problem.
No.
At first they are. At first they're a big
Right.
problem.
Initially, all
Yeah.
zombies are a problem,
but
but
then people begin to adapt and
yeah,
whatnot.
and those people run into your second variable.
Yeah.
Other people.
Other people. So, like,
Which-
one of the things that we're working on here right now is like a Game Master toolkit for Extinction, and so I'm writing 3 different time points in the Extinction. Right.
Right.
The first one's the outbreak, like that first week, But the main one, where like most of the scenarios that we'll take, that we'll put out and all that stuff will take place 1 month or so, like within that first month or 2 after the outbreak.
Yeah.
Whenever people are starting to like band together and form communities and scavenge and all that nice fun stuff, people got a little bit of a handle on the virus and they know that they're immune and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Well, the thing is about being immune is that you're not immune to getting killed by an infected.
Yeah. You can still be chewed to death.
Oh, yeah. You can still be chewed and clawed to death. Do you think... Because, like, what I was saying about The Walking Dead is that people are the other problem.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think that you could venture into even Huntsville? Because we're in suburbs around Huntsville.
Yeah.
Do you think you could even venture into Huntsville?
Let me stop you there,
and
Chief.
survive it.
I'm not gonna go to Huntsville. Let me go ahead and just drop that one on you. I'm not going to Huntsville.
Like, ever?
Even
if you got vehicles and all that stuff?
Nah, dude. I know there's snipers in some of them pawn shops. Bump that. There's some tall building.
There's some guns all around here, man.
Dude, that's the thing about being in the South and dealing with other people is like you're dealing with people who have guns and bullets.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And lawn equipment.
Chainsaws,
dude.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, what are you talking
people get a little
about?
happy with the chainsaw around zombie killing time.
They're gonna be cutting your grass.
No, they're gonna be cutting your legs off, your arms off. But yeah, it's real Leatherface situation out there with the chainsaw. But you know, going into a big city to me is like the worst idea ever. Sure, there's a lot of supplies, lot of payoff.
Yeah,
that risk ain't worth it.
You know, I was actually watching a video not too long ago. It was about like the first year of a zombie apocalypse. And they said for like the first couple of weeks that GPS would still work.
Oh, yeah. Like there's technology that would still go on for a little bit.
Like your phone would still work for a little while.
For just a little bit.
And that's crazy to me because like you think that it would go down like nearly immediately. No, it would stay on up until
for a little bit,
up until it
generators
needed,
and stuff start losing power.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like places where they have like water generated power,
like dams.
Yeah, dude.
Like our area.
Well, see, like they would exist for a lot longer, but they wouldn't exist for as long as what you would think because. You know, you have to have maintenance on that dam.
Yup.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so there's a lot of that, and that maintenance goes down. And then,
bro, that kind of gets on to like another subject. I'm gonna eventually get into it. So like, I was thinking the other day about like fundamental societal workers,
right? Like
absolute necessary for society to function.
Are you talking about like the mandatory workers for what are they? No,
they called them mandatory workers during the COVID crisis.
Did they call them mandatory?
Yeah. And a lot of it was
they called the other people non-essential.
Essentials and non-essentials.
Yes, that's what it is.
Brother, I was an essential.
I was also an essential.
Ain't that weird?
Yeah.
You are considered an essential, integral part of society.
And it's like, why not making more money doing what I do?
But yet, you don't make enough money to cover really what you're doing.
Yeah.
And yet, I like people are going to hate me for this one, but you get actors who are getting paid multi-million dollars to act.
Yeah.
I'm keeping your society running.
Do you remember during the pandemic whenever...
I'm saying, like, you're really not useful when it comes down to it.
Did you ever see...
You should be paid based on your use.
Did you ever see... During the pandemic, there was a bunch of actors that like sent in small like clips of them singing "Imagine" by John Lennon.
Oh Lord!
And so they're all just like a bunch of actors and people like that.
Yeah,
singing that song and they piece it together and they put it out to like give people hope. And it's just like, I just need to buy groceries. It's like I don't care about your stupid song.
Yeah,
it's like actors and people like that think they're so much more like self-important. Or they feel like they're more important than they actually are.
Well, it's like I hear this a lot is that, celebrity such and such is very down to earth. Buddy, when you got that much money, aren't we all down to earth? Think about that for a split second, dude.
What do you mean?
Like everybody's like, I hear this a lot about celebrities. Like, oh, they're down to earth. They're really cool. They're really chill. I bet they're celebrities. They have money.
Oh yeah,
they don't have any worries.
Yeah, they're not worried about nothing.
They're not worried about nothing. Of course, they're down to earth and chill.
Yeah,
they ain't got no worries.
Yeah, they ain't worried about it. They're
you know what I'm saying?
You
wonder why lower society's ugly. It's because we're stressed. We're trying to get by, bro.
Yeah, no, we're stressed out.
We're rats.
we're the rats.
You know what I'm saying?
Beneath the sewer.
I'm just, I see stuff like that, and it just kind of.
It's like people don't care.
You
know what I mean? What kills me is that, like, all right, so entertainment is huge.
It is.
And whenever I say entertainment, that's a wide net. Whenever I throw that, anything that causes people to, like
even this,
everything that we produce in this room right here
is just entertainment.
Is entertainment.
Yeah,
it's for ourselves and it's for other people.
Yeah,
it's a creative outlet for us and it's entertainment for other people.
Yeah.
People begin to view entertainment like it's like their one thing is a necessity that other people must have. You know what I mean? When in actuality, it's not. Like, it's absolutely not.
When it comes down to bare survival essentials, entertainment's actually pretty low in value.
Mm-hmm.
The only time that entertainment is high in value is when everything's going good.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying.
Because, like, what?
Look at third world countries. You think they're worried about their cartoons?
No,
they're not.
Not really.
They're worried about how am I going to get milk on my table.
Yeah, they're worried more about that kind of stuff. And so it's like it makes people who, like virtue signal and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, shut up. It's like people out here just trying to buy groceries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people are just trying to survive.
Yeah, it's like, it's crazy to sit here and witness people that will just like live on the internet and they think, things are one way or, and they're absolutely not. Maybe it's just because like you're in an echo chamber, Yeah.
Yeah, when you're on the internet, I think too much internet and too much social media is really bad. And that's real preachy and real soapboxy. But I've experienced the negative side effects of being on social media too long and having too much access to stuff like that. All the negative connotations definitely come with social media. I don't see things like podcasts and audiobooks and music as harmful, but even then, there is a time where I think people like need to decompress out in nature, and listen to like real birds sing and the real wind blow.
I think that people get wrapped up so much into their hobbies and whatnot that they forget that there's a real world outside of the things that they care
It's
about.
a good thing to touch grass every now and then.
Yeah, like they
feel
say
the sunshine.
They say it as a joke, but it's actually for real. It's like you might need to go outside.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was like going to is like here lately. I've been in a more
like touch grass kind of
trying to be more positive, try to be more zenful, try to be more just like hey. I need to just step away for a second. I need to go walk for a little bit. I need to try to eat better.
Yeah.
So I can feel better. I need to worry more about my sleep. Try to take care of myself.
What's crazy is that people don't realize how much just little daily changes like that
makes a big deal.
Will improve your quality of life exponentially.
Yeah.
It's like just drink a cup of water. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, stop drinking so much soda.
I mean, a lot of it is just really, it's instead of taking in like processed crap, try to be natural and organic and try to, fit in with your body's inner ecosystem and all that stuff matters, dude. And that, like, once again, it gets kind of preaching, kind of hippie-ish, but honestly, bro, like, we really, as a society, if you want people to quit being sick, you got to take care of yourself. And part of that is getting off the internet for a minute.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
If that means turning us off, like, right now, brother, if you feel like that's your wake-up call, like, go for it. I ain't going to blame you.
We're not important.
We're not important, bro. Like, I'll devalue that right off the cut. But if you're still listening, cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, like,
but seriously,
who we are and what we do is so unimportant. Dude.
It is.
It's like it don't actually matter.
It don't.
You know what I mean?
But it's to a degree, it's fun, and in moderation, it's okay.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool that we get to do stuff like this, and
Yeah.
it's a blessing that we even get to do stuff like this.
We
even have the know-how to plug up mics and figure out how to record. But
the Lord definitely helped us do all this.
100%.
You know what I mean? And so we're extremely thankful that we have the opportunity to do it. But at the same time, it's like
every now and then you just need a break.
Yeah, this is not like
super important at the end of the day.
It's not important. It's just something that we do to pass the time.
Hitting somebody up and making sure like they're having a good day. That's a little bit more important. I had a little
time
bit
with your family.
I had a little bit of a Lord of the Rings moment earlier today. I was like, you know what? It's a beautiful day outside, and I'm doing something progressive, and I'm doing something productive. That made me feel good.
What do you mean, like a Lord of the Rings
moment? It was just like a little wholesome, like realization. Like the moment I was having is like, oh, well, this is like a wholesome. I'm doing something good today. This is like a good moment,
and that.
I just appreciated it.
That translated to Lord of the Rings.
I heard Lord of the Rings playing in the background. And it's like
you heard concerning hobbits start playing up.
Daggum Shire.
All right. So I had a unique opportunity the other day.
Yeah.
Actually, it was yesterday. So yesterday I did not go to work. I was having allergy issues. Right.
Right.
I stayed in my basement in the dark. And this is a little bit of a tangent to get to where I wanted to talk about a unique opportunity. We've been learning Japanese here recently, right?
Yeah.
And so what that entails is, one of the things that I do is I am on an English/Japanese Discord server, right? Where people help each other either learn English or learn Japanese, right? And a lot of people will just sit and chat, like in the chats and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so I decided, I was like, you never know. So I'll just like hop in there, right? Well, eventually, like, of course, I left myself on mute and just kind of wanted to just sit in there and just see what it, like, feel the vibe out. And eventually there was these two dudes that were left in there, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna speak up. You know? And one of them I could tell was definitely foreign, right? But I couldn't tell from where, right?
Right.
The other one sounded American.
Yeah.
Turns out the American was actually, he lived in Tokyo.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think he was actually American. I think he was actually a Japanese person.
He was just really good with the accent.
I think he was just really fluent or something. I'm not entirely sure.
You can tell over there really fast who studied English and who didn't.
Yeah.
Or you can tell real fast.
I didn't really follow up just a whole lot on him because he ended up hopping out a little bit later after I talked to him for a little bit, just seeing where they were from.
Yeah.
The other guy was from Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
And so I talked to him for a second. And then there was another dude who was muted in there, and he eventually unmuted himself and started talking to him. And his English was super good.
Yeah.
Super, super good.
Yeah.
And he was from China.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, this guy was from China. And so then everybody left, and it was just me and the guy from China in there. And so we just started, just talking about stuff.
Just stuff.
That's
freaking cool, dude.
No idea who he was. I don't even remember. I kind of remember his name on Discord.
Yeah.
And we just started talking about, the states of our country and all that kind of stuff, where we were actually from in our country and whatnot.
Yeah.
And this guy, he asked me, he's like, what do you think about China?
Mm-hmm.
And I told him the truth. I said, I'm scared of China.
Yeah.
I said, not the people. I said, I'm scared of the Chinese government. And he was like, well, he said,
fair.
He said, that's pretty fair. I think they're pretty scared of them too there.
Really?
Yeah.
I imagine they are.
And I asked him what it was like, or we talked about what it was like to live in a communist country.
Yeah.
And he explained it to me.
Yeah.
And dude, it's not much different than here.
I imagine so.
It's not much different.
It's a more modified version of communism than probably what's from The Cold War era.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I don't know. At the same time, it's like they still
How
do
much of it's been modified?
And the thing is he was from Beijing, and so he's like from the capital.
Right.
I think that's the capital.
It's either Beijing or no. Hong Kong is the British, or was the British city.
What?
It's like controlled by England, I think.
Oh, okay.
I could be super wrong about all that.
But no, he was from Beijing, and so he was like, it's very, very capitalistic there.
Yeah.
And so that's why he was kind of saying, you know, like what it was really like and whatnot. And I was like, I talked to him for a little bit longer. It turns out the dude was 17.
Really?
Yeah, just a 17-year-old kid in China.
Wow.
And I'm like, I'm 31, dude.
Yeah.
It's like, it's crazy, like what you'll meet people.
Dude,
across
I
the
would
internet
love to
with.
go to China because some of that country is so beautiful, dude, and unreal looking.
Oh yeah, like
I would love to go to China to see some of that stuff.
I would love to see the Pillar Mountains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be insane.
Or even the cave that's like big enough that has its own ecosystem. It's like the largest cave in the world.
Really?
It has, yeah. It's like, you ought to look it up. It's like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, cave system in the entire world.
Yeah.
And it's got like massive openings from end to end.
Yeah.
And it has its own weather and ecosystem inside.
That's pretty cool.
It's insane. People camp out there all the time.
That's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Which I feel like you could come and go in China just fine, especially being an American. They'll probably end up grilling you whenever you get back over here. But
100%.
for sure. But like I said,
but I would like to get to see the sights.
we just like talked about different stuff, and I told him I was like, you know, average people don't think, you know, this way or that way and whatnot, and
Right.
you know, all that kind of stuff. And it was just like, it was really, really cool.
An eye-opening.
And yeah, I guess you could say eye-opening. I figured most of the stuff that he told me anyways
Was true.
Because I'm like,
Why would he lie to you?
yeah, you know, he don't know me, I don't know him. What benefit does he have to deceive me?
None.
You know what I mean?
That's the thing about most anonymity, if I'm saying that right, is like people are generally good.
Yeah.
Why would they really have no reason to lie to you? Now there are narcissistic people out there who do exist, but those people are few and far between.
What's crazy is that, like, with that kind of opportunity to be able to talk to somebody who lives literally the other side of the world from you, you know,
That's amazing.
like it was morning time for me. I want to say it was like 10
It's
or
probably
11,
night for him.
and it was
Night for him.
night time for him.
See, right now it is 9:15 a.m. in Tokyo.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, the sun's going down here.
Oh yeah, it's
and
dark
then,
outside.
Like it's not.
Well,
not
it's
fully.
twilight.
Not fully. Well, it's probably just right after golden hour.
Yeah, I think they call that twilight.
No, twilight's a little bit darker than this.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's about to be.
But yeah, and that is an experience that like
Not a lot of people get.
that not a lot of people get, to where you can actually just have a free form conversation about anything with somebody that you just flat out don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
that kind of encourages me to hop in there and maybe try it out.
Yeah.
Never know. One night when I'm sitting here by myself, just
Like I said,
get on here and
I
I'll
just
talk to somebody.
Sat on mute, you know what I'm saying, and just sat and listened to people talk. Some of them talked in Japanese, some of them didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then whenever they would like say goodbye to each other, they would say it in, you know, Japanese, you know, matane and all that stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, and they also told me like a slang form of see you later.
Yeah.
Which matane is very it's very formal.
Mm-hmm.
And and I thought you would actually really like this. The informal version where like it's, you know, like between friends, is chane.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Chane.
Yeah, chane. It's like
Chane.
you know, like that. And so
That's cool.
it is really cool.
because that's very close to
so
my
like
name.
that kind of stuff is what you'll learn talking to these kinds of people, and that's why they set up these places that we can go and you can learn, other languages and whatnot.
Yeah, I may start checking into that myself. That kind of encourages me to do so.
How far are you in Wagotabi? You mess with it much?
I haven't here recently due to just life happening at me. But I plan on maybe tomorrow. I got some time after I take the kiddo to school. Yeah. I'll probably mess with it then.
I'll mess with like 5-10 minutes a day.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
and I need to get into a habit of picking up the workbook, going through the workbook. At night, I've been trying to play the Japanese Learning 101 podcast.
Yeah.
While it live streams.
Yeah.
And I just play that while we sleep.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much that helps, but I mean, it's some kind of immersion.
Yeah, because they say you got to like immerse yourself in the language. And us being weebs anyways,
it's pretty easy.
It's pretty easy to find that kind of stuff. And that's kind of how I found like the actual Japanese role-playing games and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you wouldn't know about that culture.
That's out there.
And
it's crazy, dude.
And people are like, why would you want to learn Japanese? And it's like, I don't know, why wouldn't you want to learn another language and learn about another culture?
I don't mean this like bad, but I'm gonna reverse everything. They seem to find plenty of reason to learn English, and y'all don't seem to have a problem with that.
What's crazy is I think they call them Westaboos.
That's funny.
Yeah, I've heard them call it that before. It's like,
dude, I've heard Japanese people be getting down with some country and bluegrass.
Yes,
and they love it.
Have you seen the rockabilly people that dance in the park?
Yeah,
dude, that's
they're there.
That one, that's wild to me.
That's crazy.
They'll
dude.
like have full on pompadours and
everything. They're straight up Elvis impersonators.
Yeah, dude, it looks absolutely
Japan be a wild place to be, man.
Yeah. And it's just like I don't know. It's just the
But
culture.
What's crazy is I've been twice. I've spent a total of 3 weeks there, and I still haven't seen. I'm not even scratching the surface of that place.
I would love to go to like a small town and just see what
I want to next time I go, I'd like to do some villages. Yeah. And really, really kind of like meet people and stuff.
Yeah.
Meet families.
That's kind of why, another reason why I want to learn Japanese is because you can actually communicate with the people.
Yeah.
And like learn what their life is actually like. Because one of the things whenever I go on vacation anyways is I don't like to go on vacation and then go do a million touristy things.
Yeah.
I like to go and almost like role play that I live there. You know what I'm saying? And like, what would it be like?
Which is an interesting take on life.
What
like when you go on when you go on vacation, like instead of doing all the touristy things, just being like, what's it like to live here?
We went to Savannah a couple years ago, Savannah, Georgia. Beautiful, beautiful city, right? And I would like wake up in the morning because it's not a very like you can drive around in that city, but it's a very walking friendly city.
Yeah.
And that's awesome to me.
You like Japan.
Well, yeah, and it's very flat too, which is why I also really like Japan.
Yeah. Well, there's some hills. There's some stairs.
Oh, wow.
The stairs exist.
Yeah, the stairs will get you.
Dude, the stairs are there when you least expect them.
Oh, no.
Dude, I don't know how many times me and John were just like, no, not another flight of stairs. And then we'd have to go up another flight of stairs, turn the corner. No! Curse you, John.
So... It's so like what I would do is I found a local coffee shop that I liked.
Yeah.
And I would wake up in the morning and I would walk there, get me and Rachel a coffee and come back, like coffee and some breakfast. And then, if we wanted to go do something, we would like go walk and do it. Like anywhere that we wanted to go, we just like kind of walked and did it.
That's how me and John did Japan. It's just like we just try to live like people did.
Yeah.
We get up and go to the conveni, get our breakfast, eat it at the park, that's nearby or whatever.
See, I'm not super interested in doing a bunch of touristy stuff anywhere that I go.
Dude, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, the
live.
touristy stuff in Japan, it's a thing. You can do it, bro.
It makes
go off the beaten path.
It makes me feel like I'm living
a simulator.
No, like I'm living a different life.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and that's what everybody wants when they go on vacation. They want to break from their life. And so, like, to me, the ultimate break is to imagine that I'm here.
Bro, I've had so many people ask me, like, dude, do you use a tour guide? Did you use a tour guide? And it's like, what?
No.
Why would I do that?
That's crusty.
I want to free boundlessly explore whatever I want.
Yeah,
at any given moment.
Tour guides are crusty. Why would I do
Bruh,
that?
I'm here to explore. I'm not here to be directed.
You know what's funny is
I'm an animal. Let me sniff this thing out, dude.
My parents went to Spain last year.
Yeah.
And while they were there, they also got to go to Greece and whatnot.
Which is cool.
And they got to see, like, Vatican City. I think they went to Italy at one point. Or, of course, I think they had to if they went to Rome. Yeah, so yeah. So they went with, like, a large group of people, and they had a tour guide. Yeah. And then mom and dad and, like, 2 other couples that went with them, which was like, bump this. We're going and doing our own thing.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the tour guide liked it that much because they knew who it was.
Yeah.
It's like, there's people from our church that, like, get big groups together and go.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
Oh, yeah.
And they were just like, yeah, no. And the thing is, it's like with those quote unquote excursions that the big group would go on, they didn't get to see half the stuff that mom and dad got to see.
That's what I'm saying,
Mom and dad
dude.
went inside the Coliseum.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
Mom and dad climbed the leaning tower of Pisa.
Yeah, like
no one else got to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, tour guides are crusty, dude.
Yeah, dog, it's crusty.
Dude, free brown, like, explore. Like, just walk.
Yeah.
Look at things.
So, like, one of
use your own sense of direction and follow your instinct, bro.
Yeah,
just explore.
So when we went to,
it's fun.
Was 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago we went to. Was it last year? No, it was 2 years ago. We went to Maine, right?
Yeah.
And on our way up to Maine, we stopped and stayed in Marblehead, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Marblehead and Salem, which are actually like
sister cities, ain't they?
Yeah, they're next door to each other.
Yeah.
Literally next door to each other.
Which is pretty metal.
So you think Salem and you think Witchy City.
Yeah.
Marblehead looks like what you think Salem looks like.
Yeah.
And Salem looks like Huntsville.
Really?
Yes.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's really weird.
So what was funny is we was walking around Salem and I have a really, really good sense of direction.
Yeah.
And we was walking around all day in Salem, and it was time to go to the car, and like no one knew like how to find where the car was, and I was like, just follow me, it's this way. And they were all ragging on me the whole, do you actually know where you're going? Do you actually know? And then when they started seeing familiar stuff, they stopped ragging so much, and then bam, we was right there at the car, and I was like, y'all suckers, listen to me.
Give me the keys.
Yeah, give me them keys. I'm driving. Nah.
Yeah.
I was like, I know exactly where I'm at. I know exactly where I'm at all times.
That's kind of weird. It's laid out, or it reminded you of Huntsville.
Oh, it's definitely Huntsville like.
Really?
Just like where a small section of the town was witch flavored. The rest of it was just Huntsville.
Right. Just weird.
Yeah. But, to me, the reason I like to just kind of walk around instead of doing the touristy stuff is because you never know what you're going to come across while you're there.
Nope.
You have no idea what you're going to come across while you're there. It's like for me, whenever I do eventually get to go to Japan,
yeah.
I want to go somewhere and I want to park it and I want to stay there for the duration of my trip. And I just want to walk around, just see what's around there.
Yeah.
And when I say park it, I mean like stay in one spot. Like I'm not super into jumping between several different cities and whatnot. I want to stay in one spot.
See, I've done that on my past 2 excursions, jump around from city to city. And that is one way to see Japan, and it's a good way to see and experience Japan. But it's a really difficult process. It is a process, and it is definitely a journey. Because you got train schedules to work with.
Yeah.
You got hotel scheduling to work with.
Like I would much rather go and just like this, like my trip that I go, just stay in Tokyo.
Right.
For like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's it. And just go around and see what's in Tokyo.
And you can, and there's plenty of people who do that.
Yeah, and then, because I don't plan on going just once.
Right.
A lot of people are like, oh, I'm planning on really going. I'm not, and I'm planning on going several times.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, to really, from what I've learned from jumping from city to city, once again, it's a good way to see Japan, but it's really difficult, and it's a big process, and I wouldn't recommend it for anybody going their first or second time.
Right.
What I would recommend, having done that, is, then like you said, pick you a city you want to check out, stay there for a week.
Yeah.
At minimum. Stay
Yeah.
there for a week. You'd be really surprised what you find.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be really surprised.
What, if I was going to go for like 2 weeks and people absolutely wanted to try more than one spot, right?
Yeah.
Because I know like a lot of people want to go to the onsens and they want to go to the ryokans and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not
all to you.
That's not why I'm going.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To me, you know how I said like I want to go and I want to like stay in one city, and like whenever we was talking about, you know, whenever we were planning on going and you and John ended up going and I had to stay.
Yeah.
I was suggesting we stay in one spot.
Yeah.
And because I didn't care as much about the onsens and the ryokans and all that stuff. Well, it's because I want to live like a local. I don't want to go to a touristy thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that does sound really cool and whatnot.
Like I said, you see stuff, but I mean, I seen it, and I'm not like trying to write home about it.
Right.
It was cool,
it's
but
like, there is.
it is. I mean, you can look it up on the internet, and you get just as much of an idea of what it is.
Which is actually kind of funny that it's like that. You can just,
I mean,
look it up on the internet, and then there it is.
Yeah, I mean, the touristy stuff is really just look it up on the internet. Go do something like go hang out in a village, or go up north, like go to Hokkaido and that region, and just stay up there.
Oh yeah,
you know, just hang out in the snow.
And it's just like I don't understand why people.
Probably my next time I go, I would like to stay around Osaka for 2 weeks.
I would be willing to, my first time going, just staying in Osaka the entire time.
Yeah.
I would totally be down for that.
Osaka's amazing.
Yeah, especially if
it's my favorite city.
If I don't go with Rachel, I'm totally fine with going to Osaka and just staying. If I go with Rachel, I'd kind of like to just stay in Tokyo. Because she's going to want to go to Tokyo Disney. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And therefore, I would like to do that because
I was gonna say if you wanted a more romantic trip, I would have recommended Kyoto. But her wanting to go to Disney, Tokyo, I would
the thing about Kyoto,
I would just do a week in Tokyo and call it.
The thing about Kyoto now is
the tourism
is
wrecking it,
and they're wrecking it and whatnot.
Yeah,
and that's what sucks is that you see a lot of people that don't respect the landscape. Like there was somebody trying to carve their name into one of the
Trons.
It's like, what are you doing? It's like this thing is
stood
for thousands of years, hundreds and thousands of years.
And I said this to my mom when I came back. It's shocking. And like this is like, oh, Chinese kid, you've been to Japan. Whatever. You guys are arrogant. America is so arrogant and
have fun in the Smokies or the beach.
Yeah, dude. Like, why are you carving your name and disrespecting stuff?
Yeah.
You didn't have no part in it. Why are you leaving your mark on it?
Yeah, it's like people feel
the Japanese people do not think like us.
No, they're very respectful.
Everything is about respect.
Yeah.
Without respect, you don't have a functioning society. Why do you think that this tiny little island the size of Montana put together is so much more efficient than most of us who've been on this earth for I don't know how long now?
Dude, what did you think?
Maybe you should take a few pointers from the people who are doing it efficiently and right. Maybe they got it figured out.
So I just remembered that I sent you a really, really goofy video like a couple of weeks ago. Do you remember what it was?
Maybe.
Was it a guy playing Monster Hunter?
I'd have to go back and look.
I found it on Japanese YouTube, and I say that as a placeholder for what it was not YouTube, but Japan. It was literally a Japanese version of YouTube. It's their YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You can access it here. Like, it's pretty easy to.
Yeah.
But I found a guy playing Monster Hunter, and he had like this Vocaloid like over talk, and he was like super pink. I'm talking about like hot pink, and, and I was like,
what in the world?
I sent it to you, and I thought that I sent you a link to it, and apparently you saw something completely different.
Dude, it just opened up the app, and it was like, I don't know what I was watching. I don't understand a lick of Japanese enough to know what I was looking at.
So what's really funny is that
I still don't know to this day what I was looking at.
As you watch it, and you watch any video on that platform, their comments scroll across the screen. I guess like in real time or whatever.
That is so cursed.
But like dude, it is, because all you'll see, like, you'll be watching a video like a Hatsune Miku, like music video, and then it would just be like filled with Japanese, just like scrolling across the screen like subtitles.
That is so cursed.
And it's like, it's not even at the same time. It's just like all in different speeds and like all like going across.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, dude. It
sounds like a sensory nightmare.
It seems like it's definitely sensory overload. So I'm like, how are you supposed to be able to read all this stuff?
How am I supposed to?
Even if you're native, how are you supposed to read all this?
Yeah, like what is this?
It's like, this is not.
It must be some Zoomer app or something. I don't know.
No, actually, they're actually starting to go away from that application and go more towards YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, that's from what little research I've done into it.
Interesting. Yeah, YouTube is starting to pop off over there. You got more and more native Japanese people getting on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. It's really easy to like immerse yourself in a language, and if you've made it this far and you're like, hey,
these guys are a bunch of losers.
Secret Dungeon guys, how do we learn Japan? Yes. How do we learn that?
You just took a page from my book, didn't
you? Yeah, which is funny because that's not anything. I just said it's stupid.
Yeah.
The way that you do it, I'm gonna lay out a couple of steps for you right here. Okay. You need to learn hiragana.
Yeah.
Then you need to learn katakana.
Yeah.
And you don't need to worry about kanji just yet.
Yeah.
And you'll start picking up on kanji.
Eventually.
Their spoken language is one language, but their writing language, their written language is 3 different languages.
That's the basics.
Yes, and it's not as complicated as it sounds. I promise you it's not, because they're all mixed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, what is it?
The hardest part is their sentence structure.
Yeah, and backwards. It's backwards most of the time.
It's even hard to say that it's backwards.
It's just jumbled.
It's, because like you got to show ownership of things, and you got to, there's certain particles and conjugations that like show what the sentence is actually about, Yeah. Say, like, I could say, my dog is outside.
Yeah.
And that right there is very, very simple and would translate just straight up like English.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so it'd be watashi wa watashi no inu ni soto.
Mm-hmm.
Des, if I wanted to be formal.
Yeah.
And watashi is me or I.
Yeah.
And then no shows ownership. Inu is dog.
The dog.
Yeah, and then ni shows location.
Here.
And then soto is outside. Yeah, and so it's like watashi no inu ni, which shows
soto
where the thing that I'm talking about is.
Yeah.
It's
outside.
Yeah. My dog is outside. And so like that's pretty straightforward. But if you start saying, where is my dog?
Oh, that's where it starts getting crazy.
Yeah, it starts getting a little wild.
Or like
something
if
like
you
that.
say something like "Thou shalt rue the day that you betrayed me."
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's like
that's a lot of context we're going to need there.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of context, and then you got to say it in a negative connotation and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Because like with their language, they have a word for everything.
yeah.
They even have words to show you, because their inflection in their words, for us, the way that we
Creates
speak,
new words.
yeah, well, and the way that we speak, our inflection, and our emphasis on our words create the tone that we're trying to in the context, right?
Yeah,
Where it's just like, my dog's outside.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Or it's like,
yeah.
my dog's outside.
yeah.
To them, nothing. That's nothing. They could say literally Watashi no Inu ni
They leave the emotion out of it.
des, yeah.
Yeah.
And no, ni soto des, right?
Yeah,
And if they're like, great, you know, my dog's outside, it would be like Watashi no Inu ni soto sin des. Something like that.
they add a negative connotation.
They add
to
a
it.
negative you know, the sin right there is that negative connotation.
Yeah,
And which is kind of ironic for English, but still.
a little bit.
Yeah. So it's just like that kind of stuff is where it gets complicated, but whenever like actually learning words and pronunciations isn't the worst. And it's kind of why I'm wanting you to progress a little bit, so I can actually like bounce some Japanese off of you.
Yeah.
So my pronunciation is booty.
Booty cheeks.
Is booty cheeks. Let's wrap this thing up.
Where we at?
Right past 51.
No, they must suffer till 1 hour.
All right.
It's the 1 hour power mower flower.
All right. Well, let's just see here then. All right, wrap this thing up.
Guys, we really appreciate you coming in and listening once again to us rant and rave and tangent our way to the end of, what, at 55 minutes?
Somewhere around in there.
Man, I'm good. All right, guys, I love you, but not nearly as much as half of you deserved, and a lot less than the other half deserve, or however Bilbo says it.
I like half of you.
That's what it was.
Half as well as you deserve.
Yeah.
And I like less than half of you. It's something like
Yeah.
that. Now I done stinking forgot
To get
it.
that guy to say that, I would have paid him $20. All right, we'll see you guys later.
Hold on.
Peace.
No way. Hold on.
No, we done ruined it.
No,
we
got to know what the quote is.
We gotta do the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on. Here it is.
Here we go.
Here it is.
I'll say it because I want to say it.
Okay.
I don't know half of you half as well as I should like, and I like less than half of you half as well as you deserve. And with that, sayonara. Corey.